Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die, looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just find me, just find me. Sparks will fly if we scream now. This is not how we're gonna go. We are the ones who'll never let go. Just watch us roll till we're no one knows. We'll never grow.
Formula 1 returns to the Principality for what is rumoured to be the final ever Monaco Grand Prix, so all the teams are pushing 110% to take what could be the final win on this legendary circuit, if this was to be the final Monaco Grand Prix. Red Bull brings some new chassis and aero upgrades, as I see that this race is their best shot at putting one on faster rivals Mercedes and Ferrari to take their first victory of 2017. Likewise, McLaren and Honda also bring some new chassis upgrades of their own, as they look to build on a solitary point scored by Komario at the start of the season, and finally put some more points on the board for the British team. Sebastian Vettel will take pole in what could be the final Monaco Grand Prix, with Fernando Alonso completing the front row in the Mercedes. Jean-Eric Vergne will line up in third in the second of the Ferraris, with Josh Chero dragging his underperforming Williams up to P4. Pascal Wehrlein could only manage P5 in qualifying, and an impressive lap from Lewis Hamilton will see him line up in 6th in the Toyota. Sebastian Buemi will start 3 places behind his teammate from 7th, with Daniel Ricciardo taking his best qualifying of the season so far to line up in 8th for Renault. Pierre Gasly will start from 9th as the leader of the Toro Rossos, with Rio Haryanto putting McLaren's upgrades to good effect to line up in P10. Both Red Bulls will drop 5 places due to gearbox changes, with Carmen Jorda riding off the strong qualifying session for McLaren in 13th. Adrian Sutter will start leading the Saubers from 14th, ahead of Esteban Ocon, who could only manage 15th on the grid. Nico Hülkenberg will start all the way down in 16th in the second of the Renaults, with Carlos Sainz only managing 17th on the grid. The Hasses would have started from 8th and 9th, albeit due to engine changes for both of them, they dropped to 18th and 19th, with Giovinazzi running off the grid. Hey guys, Taro here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 6. For Season 4, the Monaco Grand Prix, and what could be the final ever Monaco Grand Prix. So 20 cars on the grid, and we'll all be gunning for victory on this final, possibly, race at Monaco. We're now coming to the far red lights for the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. We actually get a pretty decent start there. It's like one of the Mercedes up in front hasn't got the best of starts there coming through now. It's Telmo going side by side with Jean-Eric Vergne, so trying to hold it around the outside there of Jean-Eric Vergne, but Vergne with the inside line just managed to make the move on there. Now we can try and gain on Jean-Eric Vergne coming up the hill. We actually got a red flag. We got a red flag situation. What's happening here? Going 4 wide into turn 1. And now that's not going to anywhere. There's cars into the wall. The McLarens, the Renaults, the 2 Saubers, everyone. It's a huge traffic jam here at turn 1. What happened here? So looking on board now from Carmen Jorda. The 4 cars in front just go completely straight on there into turn 1. Then Jorda just gets stood behind the Renault, moves out of the way, but then has nowhere to go because there's just a wall there. See one of the Toroses look like on our left as well. Now looking at it now from further back, you see the 2 Hasses there stuck in between this queue with the 2 Saubers, the 2 Renaults. There, one of the Torosos just getting out of the way of everyone, and the other Renault they're getting stuck behind as well. Crazy scene so far. They're now from Pierre Gasly. They're completely sandwiched there between the McLaren and the Red Bull. Takes a few knocks there to the front wheels. So imagine you're very lucky if he hasn't got any steering damage or some sort of kind of suspension damage there from that contact. But now, coming around back now to the restart, so honestly it's a good job that we have red flag situation restarts back for 2017, so now I have to do yet another formation lap, then we restart the race once again with the full 36 laps yet to do. You can see there, it looks like all the cars are back on the starting grid, so they're back, once again Haryanto and Jorda with it all to do once again now on the start. But now coming back to the 5 red lights for the restart of the Monaco Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Can we get a good start like last time? Actually, you get a pretty decent start there. We're gaining now on Johnny Van. Now coming down his turn. We get squeezed by Johnny Van into the wall. We get so close there with Johnny Van. That could have been a wheel off for us now. Looks like everyone's managed to make it round turn 1 this time cleanly. So we're going side by side there with Johnny Van now. Over the hill now, coming up now into the casino section. Like Van may have got us on the run there up to the casino. Going side by side now with Pascal Verlaine. Verlaine trying to hold it around the outside, which will then turn to the inside. We're on the racing line trying to hold it right around the outside now of Pascal Verlaine. Now coming up into the hairpin section, still trying to hold it around the outside now of Pascal Verlaine. Coming down into the hairpin, we have to back out there, give Verlaine a position, because there's no way we can go too wide through this section, especially with these wider cars. See there, everyone else is snaking their way through the section behind. See there, we dropped quite a bit of time there to Pascal Verlaine. Now that's going to put Sebastian Buemi now right behind us, and Buemi, he's won this race before. Remember back to season 2 2015, albeit by luck, but Buemi has won this race before, so he definitely knows his way around this circuit in a Williams. Then we've got Fernando Alonso up front leading the Grand Prix, so he got the jump on Sebastian Vettel there at the start, with Jean-Eric Vergne waiting just behind these two in P3 in case anything happens, and so he can try and look for a way to increase his already sizable championship lead there with Pascal Verlaine trying to cling on there in 4th. Now he's made his way past us. You can see already how far ahead the top 4 cars already are after only 1 lap of this Grand Prix, but just showing the dominance that they have really in this season at the early part. So coming down the straight there, we're in P5, so we actually pulled away slightly there from Sebastian Buemi, so once again we have good pace there around the final sector of the lap. Then we've got Hamilton there in 6th, just trying to keep up with us best he can, and then we had the lead of the Toro Rosso, which is Pierre Gasly, and Gasly restarting the race in his original car, which you've seen has taken a few knocks to the front of it, so I wouldn't be surprised if Gasly doesn't have some kind of damage, but Toro Rosso electing not to use the spare car, so he doesn't take a 5th-place grid drop for the next race at Canada. Then we have the 2 Red Bulls here stuck up behind one of the Renaults, which I would imagine is Daniel Ricciardo, assuming Ricciardo had an excellent qualifying to line up in P8. So the Red Bull bringing upgrades for this race, and 2 gearbox changes pretty much just ruined their race. Pretty much going to ruin their race, because it's how difficult overtaking here is at Monaco, and now we've got wider cars, so it's going to make the job even harder. Then we've got Ray Haryanto with his teammate Carmen Jordan right up behind. Then we've got Nico Hülkenberg in the second of the Renaults right up behind Carmen Jordan. Of course, there's no way through this final 3rd sector of the lap that anyone can really make a move to get past the car in front. Of course, unless you're lapping them so you get let through. But if you're making a racing move, then maybe through Raskas you can try and make a move. Let's see if Sainz managed to make a move here on Suttle. Not quite as Suttle there, defense to the inside. There's not really anywhere to make a move there. Then we have Giovinazzi just trying to hang on to the back of the Saubers. And then we've got Esteban Ocon way behind everyone else. So Ocon there with a nightmare start. How's Ocon got so far behind? He must have had some kind of contact and had to pit for damage, surely. There's no way Ocon should be that far behind after only 1 lap. Now moving on to lap 4, we've still got Buemi right up behind us. I mean, we see how much time we've already lost to the cars in front. Now coming up now through Raskas, final sector, and still got Buemi there right up behind us. And sure, it's not be long now to Buemi tries to move. What we're going to do now is we're going to move to the inside and let Sebastian Buemi past, because Buemi is the faster car, and the Williams really aren't in the championship fighting positions at this point in the season, so might as well let Buemi pass. No point holding him up and allowing Lewis Hamilton there to possibly have a chance to catch up with us as well. See, they've got a massive gap there. Pierre Gasly behind is pretty much holding up every other car in the race. There's no threat from behind. So now we just need to try and keep with Sebastian Buemi, try and use his lines, try and find some pace in this stint of the race, and hopefully just keep ahead there of Hamilton, who's closing up right behind us. You see on the minimap behind Hamilton, Pierre Gasly is only coming up now into the hairpin section now, so after only on lap 5, so Gasly, there's definitely something wrong with that Toro Rosso. For Gasly to be holding up every single car in the race that's currently stuck up behind him. Now coming down into the 3rd sector going now to the high speed chicane. This is the 3rd sector of the lap, it's always where we've been good at Monaco. They go very close there to the barriers, thankfully just avoid contact with it, because you don't want to lose any of your front wing here. Seeming this Williams is pretty light on aero as it is already, without making it even lighter. It's a bit lively back end as well, losing a bit there on the back end, almost losing it through the swimming pool section. Now coming up through the fast sector, we've not actually been gaining that much time on the back of Buemi, so Buemi really does have some genuine pace in that Williams over us in this first into the race at least. Of course, this race only being a 1-stop and they're cutting all the way down to lap 8. And Buemi is that he's still slowly pulling away from us. He's not pulling away dramatically, but he's still a noticeable gap that Buemi is pulling to us. And obviously got a safety car deployed. Robbie Kubica's out of the Grand Prix. So what's happened there to Kubica? Now we've got a safety car deployed, so that's going to help us at least catch up to everyone else. And now that's actually going to neutralise the field, so maybe Torres has some time to fix Gasly's car for whatever is possibly wrong with it. Now the team giving a strategy change there to come in on the end of this lap to go on to another set of ultra soft tyres and then finish on a set of super soft. So the team want us to make a 2-stop in this race. And I think they've seen the gap that we've got behind Hamilton, so we'll drop behind Hamilton if we pit. But I think the team are gambling that there's enough of a gap to Gasly for us to come out in front of him. So we've only got a few more corners left to decide whether or not we actually come in to make this strategy change. See, Buemi stays out, so Buemi's doing a 1-stop still, so it looks like we're actually going to come in now. We accept the strategy change there from the team. So now we're going to come in to go onto another set of the ultra soft tyres, and just hope that we come out in front of Gasly, don't get stuck in the train of every single other car that's currently in the race. See, they're a very lonely pit lane, so it looks like we're the only ones coming in, albeit Gasly's that far behind that the other pit crews haven't bothered coming out. So you see him coming out in a very lonely pit, on a very lonely pit straight, and here's everyone else only coming down the pit straight now. So we have come out in front there of Pierre Gasly and every other car in the race that's stuck up behind him. So a good strategy call there from Williams, I'd say, if it works out. That is, we need to get past Hamilton first. But looking at replay of what happened here to Robert Kubica, I mean, he's still stuck up behind the Toro Rosso, behind Adrian Sutil, and we know that the Haas has really good strength and speed, of course, having that BMW power unit, but they just haven't quite got the aero and chassis to go with it. I mean, they qualify 8th and 9th, but like I said, with the wider cars, there's just not really anywhere that you can overtake around Monaco. Now, Kubica coming around the final corners. Bang! Something's gone bang in the back of his car. I don't think it's an engine, because he's still going at a pretty decent speed, so possibly an oil leak, radiator's gone, but something's let go in the back of that Haas. And now Kubica retiring for what could be the final Monaco Grand Prix. Now cutting on now onto the end of lap 10. Safety car will be coming in now at the end of this lap. You can see there we have definitely got Gasly right up behind us, but hopefully we should be able to pull a gap to the Frenchman, given that he's definitely having some kind of car issues. But he was, at least before the safety car. The Toro Rosso might have fixed his car now, but I'll come back to the restart. See, already pulling away there from Pierre Gasly, so that pretty much tells me that there is still something wrong with that Toro Rosso. Now coming through turn 1 and getting right up behind Hamilton, because now we have the fresher tyres to try and use this to our advantage to try and make a move on the 2008 World Champion, and possibly even try and re-overtake our teammate Sebastian Buemi if the team don't tell him to let us back through, seeming... Well, first of all we have to get past Hamilton, so there's nothing to worry about yet, but hopefully if you do get past Hamilton, the team will either pit Buemi to get him out of our way, or tell Buemi to let us back through, because now theoretically we should be the faster car, albeit Buemi did have the better pace before. But I think the tyre advantage should be enough to nullify Buemi's pace advantages, because you've seen he wasn't pulling away by that much, and on our fresher tyres hopefully we can make up that time and possibly even gain some. And talking of gaining, Hamilton they're keeping right on the back of our teammate Sebastian Buemi, and seeing Gasly on the minimap falling significantly behind us, about a second and a half behind already there in that Toro Rosso. And I imagine that Daniel Ricciardo must be getting very frustrated behind that Toro Rosso, and then you've got the two Red Bulls stuck behind. And surely if he was the Red Bull behind, Gasly would be told to get out of the way of the Red Bull, because the Renault's in between there, they can't just make Gasly move aside to let the Red Bulls past. So either the Red Bulls overtake Ricciardo, or Ricciardo is going to just ruin the Red Bull's race. But now Hamilton coming into the pits actually on the end of that lap. So what tyres is Hamilton going on to? Hamilton there going onto another set of the ultra soft tyres. Why is Hamilton going to the pits now? Actually, that's a terrible pit stop there from Toyota actually. There still must have been a problem on the front, getting the front wheels on. He's stationary there for a long time, but Hamilton on another set of ultra soft tyres came into the pits after the safety car, and he's doing a 2-stop, whereas we came in when the safety car came out. So interesting strategy call there from Toyota, and everyone else who came in the pits as well must be doing a 2-stop. Have they seen something that Williams haven't, or has Williams just pulled a masterclass on the strategy? Because surely they just lost it. Everyone else who's just pit has lost a pit stop advantage to us now. It's now Gasly there open to P5, so everyone's going to be stuck behind Gasly now, as we're catching right onto the back now of Sebastian Buemi. So we have DRS there on the back of our teammate, and I see we are using our tyre advantage our grip advantage to gain on the back now of our team. Sebastian Buemi, so hopefully the team have told Buemi to move out of the way for us. Now trying to go around the outside now of Sebastian Buemi coming down. Buemi defense to the inside there. So here's into our front wing. That could have been very dangerous there. Could have taken both of us out. It's the wrong other team what happened with me and Grosjean in the Lotuses back in 2015 with a slight bit of contact. Spun us both. They're going right behind Buemi now, defending there to the inside around the hairpin. Of course, we're not going to make a move around the hairpin because that just wouldn't work. You see, it rarely worked with the 1.8 metre wide cars, but if you give us 2 metre wide cars, then I can't really get around the corner singly, let alone going side by side with somebody else. Now coming out now into the end of the tunnel into the chicane again, right behind Sebastian Buemi. Once again, we're very close to his gearbox. Thankfully, not as close to make contact as he did coming through the casino section. Surely the team have told Buemi to get out of the way. This could just end in disaster for both of us. We're in very good positions because Buemi surely is doing a one-stop. And going side by side now with Sebastian Buemi now coming up into Raskowski and trying to hold it around the outside. Or Sebastian Buemi still keeping it up the inside line. Still he's side by side now around the final corner, going to hold it right around the outside. And we do manage to make the move there on Sebastian Buemi. Now we have DRS now to pull away from our teammate coming down the turn one. Buemi going to try and make a move back up the inside. Thankfully he doesn't because he's not quite close enough there to try and make a re-overtaking move. So now we try and pull away from our teammate Buemi. But cutting a bit further on, we have pulled a gap to our teammate Sebastian Buemi. Now Buemi is coming into the pits for what should be his one and only stop to go into a set of the super soft tyres. And now Buemi does indeed go onto a set of the super soft tyres. So now Buemi is theoretically getting an undercut on us on the super soft tyres. It depends, because our ultra softs are still quite fresh. There shouldn't be that much of a pace difference between the two of us. Now Buemi there coming up and turn one, he's going to get ahead there of the Toro Rosso. Is that Pierre Gasly? Or is that Carlos Sainz? But either way, he's going to come out there behind the Toro Rosso there, so that's really not working in favour for Sebastian Buemi. Buemi really needs to make a move on that Toro Rosso just to gain any pace on this stint, try and get the undercut on us. But still, it could be worse. You see, we've got one of the Toyotas, one of the Mercedes, and a Ferrari all stuck behind one of the Saubers of Adrian Sutil. So, could be worse. At least Buemi's not stuck behind them as well. Now, coming on to lap 18, halfway into this race, and we're currently leading what could be the final ever Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, we're yet to make off pit stop to go into a set of the super soft tyres, and we're coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Hopefully, we get a good pit stop here from Williams. I've seen the Williams have given Buemi some pretty good pit stops. Remember back to last season where we got all the terrible pit stops, Buemi got all the good stops. Now we're going into a set of the super soft tyres. It's going to be a good stop. Seems to be a pretty good stop there from the Williams boys. Now we're coming back out, of course, into a very lonely pit lane once again. So it seems we're pitting out of sync, but everyone else, of course, could be pitted under the safety car when no one else did. We're coming out on it's a very bare track there on the start-finish straight. Can't see anyone else. Says Buemi's either miles ahead of us or is miles behind us at this point, because I can't see anyone in front of us or behind us at the minute. They're cutting a bit further on. We've now got the Mercedes and a Ferrari coming right up behind now our teammate Sebastian Buemi. Of course, the Mercedes there and the Ferrari doing a two-stop in this race. So they may be behind Buemi, but theoretically they're a pit stop behind. So that's Fernando Alonso there. I imagine that's also Sebastian Vettel behind. So the front row sitters are currently stood behind our teammate Sebastian Buemi, and they've still got to make another pit stop. So they're both over a pit stop behind our teammate Sebastian Buemi. And that puts me and Buemi in a very good position to possibly even take a podium finish come the end of the race. Now Fernando Alonso comes in for a set of the super soft tyres. It's going to be a good stop there from Mercedes, but notice when the time has been held there for a Red Bull and a Toyota and one of the Hasses. So once again, a terrible pit stop there for Mercedes getting held up, because that is a problem with having the fast pit box. Everyone else comes down the pit lane in front of you. But Fernando Alonso, crucially, has kept ahead there of Sebastian Vettel. We've actually got one of the Red Bulls now in between Vettel and Fernando Alonso. So a poor pit stop there from Ferrari as well, and now Vettel has to overtake a Red Bull on track, and that's not going to be the easiest thing. We know how good Red Bull chassis and aerodynamics are. Now cutting a bit further on, taking now a look at the running order, and then we've got Jean-Eric Vergne leading the Monaco Grand Prix with Pascal Wehrlein there in second. So the Mercedes and Ferrari leading the way once again. It's not really a surprise in this season, but what is a surprise is we're currently in P3 in a podium position in this Williams, and this Williams really should not be this high up. To make it even better, Sebastian Buemi is right there in P4, so P3 and P4 currently for me and Buemi. That could be a very good points all come the end of the race. And in P5 we have Daniel Ricciardo there in Renault, so Ricciardo having an excellent race for Renault there in P5, and also for Ria Haryanto there in P6 in the McLaren. So McLaren could be on for some very good points on this race to pull away from Sauber in a crucial fight for 9th place in the Constructors. Then we have Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault. He's had a very good recovery drive, so could be a very good point for Renault if he stays like this as well. And then we have the lead of the Red Bulls, which I can't quite see which of the Red Bulls that is. It's actually Max Verstappen, so Verstappen has actually got ahead of Daniel Kvyat somewhere in this race. Then we have Sebastian Vettel coming up now behind Max Verstappen. Then we actually have Fernando Alonso behind. So Alonso's dropped behind Sebastian Vettel and the Red Bull. So Alonso really not having the best of pace in this final stint of the race. Then we have the second of the Red Bulls there of Daniel Kvyat. Of course, Daniel Kvyat won this race last season from the back to season 3, but I don't think he's going to be repeating that this time. Then we have Lewis Hamilton in the Toyota, being chased by the sole remaining Haas there of Lance Stroll. And some quite way behind, we actually have Pierre Gasly. He's now holding up the second of the McLarens of Carmen Jones. And so the British just proves there is something wrong with that Toro Rosso for Gasly to be this far back. And Gasly also on a set of soft tyres just to make him even slower than he already is. And you've got Carmen Jones behind there on a set of the super soft tyres, but there's just such little straight line speed in that Muir Honda power unit that there's nothing Jordan can do to get past Gasly in a straight line. I mean, they've got the pace through the corners with the chassis and aero, but there's nothing they can do. Now Johnny Van comes up to lap the second of the Toro Rossos there of Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon. And also Giovinazzi is now dropped to the back of the grid, so Ocon's had a pretty good drive to catch up and overtake someone at least. Seeing overtaking is pretty difficult here in this race. And now Johnny Verne puts the lead sail of Adrian Sutil now a lap down. And now we've got Pascal Wehrlein just starting to catch up to the back now of the back markers as well. We've still got quite a way to go to catch up to Jean-Eric Verne. He's got to make a way through the back markers first as well. Now we've got Jean-Eric Verne coming up now to lap Carmen Jordan. Jordan making him go the long way round. Is Jordan going to back out hopefully before the hairpin, which indeed she does. It lets Jean-Eric Verne through, because what's the point in fighting the race leader when you're a lap down? And in a car that's definitely not challenging for victory at this stage of the season. Now Jean-Eric Verne makes his way past Pierre Gasly. Could this be an opportunity for Jordan to make a move as well? Because Giovinazzi, of course, will be slower with the momentum. Now we've got Pascal Wehrlein now catching onto the back now of Giovinazzi. They actually made the move there on the Ferrari young prospect. Now next up to put a move on is Esteban Ocon in the Toyota. And of course, Toyota still have the AMG power unit, so albeit they are Toyota now, not Force India, they're still a Mercedes customer team, so he's not going to want to get in the way of Pascal Wehrlein. They're coming up through the final sector. Esteban Ocon there moves to the outside there of Rascasse and lets Wehrlein through. So good driving there from Esteban Ocon to let the Mercedes through where he did. And now Pascal Wehrlein's next job is to catch up to the back of Carlos Sainz. And once again, Sainz is pretty much having a really underperforming mediocre race. It's the last time at Spain, his home race, where he just pretty much had no pace there, stood behind a Sauber and the McLaren then as well. And now Pascal Wehrlein makes his move there around the inside of, just trying to get a bit of a power slide on there from Pascal Wehrlein. So I imagine that was cut slightly intentional, given he's got pretty much nothing else to do in this race. It's pretty much showing, putting the power down, showing the might of the Mercedes AMG versus the Toro Rosso. Now coming through the hairpin is now caught up to the back now of Adrian Sutil. Sutil, of course, no stranger to being lapped in his F1 career. Seeing, apart from 2009 in the Force India, Sutil has pretty much just driven mediocre machinery his entire F1 career. Now then, Pascal Wehrlein managed to make the move there around Adrian Sutil, so now he's catching up now to the back of Carmen Jordan, and then onto Pierre Gasly as well. So of course Jordan, even if she wanted to fight in a straight line, she's got no answer to Pascal Wehrlein. Of course, with the superior chassis and aerodynamics of the Mercedes as well, there's just really nothing that the McLaren can do if they wanted to fight the Mercedes for legitimately. So now Jordan moves to the inside, does she? Going around Rascasse, once again moves to the outside there and lets Pascal Wehrlein through. So now then, only one car left for Pascal Wehrlein to get past, which is Pierre Gasly, which shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, Gasly is about as fast as a HRT seems in this race. Now coming out around turn 1, shouldn't be too much longer until Pascal Wehrlein makes the move on Pierre Gasly. Now makes the move there on the Frenchman, so now he can try and chase down after Jean-Eric Verne. Now cutting all the way onto lap 36, not much longer to go in this race, trying to go around the outside now of Giovinazzi to put the young Italian a lap down, but there's nowhere through. They're just steer behind Giovinazzi now coming through the hairpin. Of course, they don't want to make a move there through the hairpin. Now Giovinazzi makes a move there to the outside, lets us go through on the inside now, going up into the tunnel section. I thankfully managed to make the move there on Giovinazzi. Of course, being still behind the Sauber there, of course that would allow Sebastian Buemi to catch onto the back of us now. And now we can catch up down to everyone else to put them a lap down as well. So we've seen everyone else has been so far been pretty well behaved at getting out of the way when they're being lapped. But I imagine a Toyota v Williams isn't going to be the easiest situations, given the Toyota and the Williams do seem pretty evenly matched at this stage of the season. And Giovinazzi is still holding up Sebastian Buemi, of course, coming through this third sector. There's not really anywhere apart from Rascasse that you can let a lead car through, which Giovinazzi thankfully does get out of the way there on the first opportunity that he does. Now we're coming up behind Esteban Ocon, who's now cutting right onto the back now of Carlos Sainz. Of course, both of them still stuck behind the Sauber with Adrian Sutil. And Sutil not really having the race pace that he showed in qualifying. It was decent qualifying, it's lined up in 14th. Albeit it would have been in 16th if it wasn't for the grid penalties for the two Hathis, but still, encouraging signs for Sauber that they are finding some pace. Now trying to go around the outside there of Ocon. I mean, you must make the move there around the outside of Esteban Ocon there on the racing line. And now coming up into the hairpin station. Ocon's actually going to keep his nose in there on the inside. What is Esteban Ocon doing? Keeping his side by side now going up into the hairpin. Ocon's putting it to the wall. Trying to pit us there into the wall. What stupid driving from Esteban Ocon. What is he thinking there? Now Sebastian Buemi tries to make the move around the outside of Esteban Ocon. Can he make the move mistake? There he goes very gingerly around the next corner. Honestly, I don't blame him. Seeing Ocon would have probably tried to take out Sebastian Buemi as well. But what was Esteban Ocon thinking in there? Keeping side by side with us, and we're in P3, a lap ahead. Why is he trying to take us out? What would Ocon have achieved from taking us out of the race? Because that would just give Buemi P3, so Williams would have been in third. Granted, it would have lessened our points haul, but still, I think Buemi and me have been very lucky there to get around Esteban Ocon the way we did. But now we're catching on to the back now of Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso. Okay, a very huge power slide there around the final corner. There's some terrible legs, and now Buemi's going to try and pull side by side with us now coming down into tail one. Buemi with DRS can try and make the move there around the outside. We have to defend our inside line coming down into tail one. Buemi can't quite hold it around the outside. And we managed to keep it into P3 there ahead of our teammate. And that's going to put Esteban Ocon right up behind us. And I won't be surprised if Ocon just straight lines into the back of Buemi at this point to try and take one of us out at least. Assuming that's what he wants to do in this race, take out one of the Williams. But still, actually lost quite a bit of time there behind Carlos Sainz, now coming down into the hairpin and getting right up behind the back now of the Spaniard. Of course, could just so much faster down the Toro Rosso. The bit of time that we did lose has pretty much just been nullified. There's only a lap and a half left to go in this race to get very close to the wall there, almost lop off a bit of our front wing, but thankfully we just avoided the wall, used the camber of the curb there to turn the car around the corner. Once getting very close towards the corner, got Sebastian Buemi getting right up behind us as we try and make a move coming up into the chicane. Thankfully he doesn't, he's just a bit too far behind. Now we've still got Esteban Ocon there. That's a very big danger right behind the two of us if me and Buemi start battling once again. And once again, it's coming up through the side sector, trying to defend from Buemi, just giving us losing time behind Carlos Sainz. So once again, could these back markers decide the outcome of the race? And again, right to behind the back now of Carlos Sainz. Sainz moves to the inside, and we can try and go around the outside there of Carlos Sainz. We did manage to make the move there on the Toro Rosso. And I've got Carlos Sainz weaving all over the track, trying to take out Buemi. Why is everyone trying to take out the Williams in this race? No, next Buemi there managed to make the move around Carlos Sainz, and Ocon there actually makes the move past Carlos Sainz as well. So there's two cars now trying to take out me and Buemi, but somehow me and Buemi have managed to get through. Maybe not unscathed. I think we have a bit of floor damage from the contact with Esteban Ocon, but now we're catching up now to Adrian Sutil in the Sauber. Well, it's just way behind Pascal Wehrlein and the current race leader. Jean-Eric Vergne now coming around the final corner. He's got one straight left to go. Now coming up to the finish line, and Jean-Eric Vergne is going to win what could be the final ever Monaco Grand Prix for Ferrari, and taking his championship back on track, with Pascal Wehrlein coming home in second for Mercedes. So the usual suspects taking the first two sets of the podium. Now we've got Sebastian Buemi right up behind us now, as we're coming up right behind the back now of Adrian Sutil in the Sauber. See there, we're losing a bit of time there to the back of the Sauber because we're in full defence mode from our teammate Sebastian Buemi there to get a nice view of the both. And Buemi's right up behind us. We have to defend there to the inside now, coming up through the high-speed chicane. And Buemi's only got one move left to go. He can make a move there up the inside of Rascal. So he can try and make a move up the inside. We'll leave the door open. But thankfully Buemi doesn't go for a move. And we actually put a lap there on Adrian Sutil to get a terrible exit there around the final corner. Could this give Buemi the opportunity to make a move on us? The Buemi there going side by side now with the side of Adrian Sutil, but how close is he to the back of us? Is he going to try and make a move coming up at the finish line? No. And we just managed to hold on to what has been the most hard fought P3 of my entire career. And there you can see Jean-Eric Vergne taking his 7th career victory, his 4th out of 6 races this season. And also taking Ferrari's first win at Monaco since 2001, and what could be the last race victory at Monaco as well. And Jean-Eric Vergne now really getting his championship charge back on track. Taking a look at the race results, and Jean-Eric Vergne take his 4th victory of the season, 6 seconds clear of Pascal Wehrlein in second in the Mercedes, and we just hold on there to P3, 2 tenths ahead of our teammate Sebastian Buemi, who comes home in 4th. Daniel Ricciardo with an excellent race would come in 5th, with his teammate Nico Hülkenberg in 6th for Renault. For a really good points all there for the French team as well. Max Verstappen will come home leading the Red Bulls in 7th, with Sebastian Vettel in 8th and Fernando Alonso in 9th. Daniel Kvyat rounds off the top 10 in the second of the Red Bulls, with Lewis Hamilton only managing 11th and Lance Stroll taking the final point for Haas in 12th. Rio Haryanto will unfortunately drop down to 13th, with Pierre Gasly in that wounded Toro Rosso in 14th and Carmen Jorda in second of the McLarens coming home in 15th. Esteban Ocon finishes in 16th, with Carlos Sainz in 17th, Giovinazzi in 18th, getting ahead there of Adrian Sutil, who drops down to 19th. You see there, his finishing time's in red, so Adrian Sutil there got some kind of penalty in this race. But I'm honestly quite shocked at the board that Ocon and Sainz didn't get any penalties for trying to take out me and Sebastian Buemi. And Robert Kubica comes home in 20th and last as the only DNF from the race. So that's been the Monaco Grand Prix. Now I'll leave you with the post-race interviews and the race results and standings from the season as well. So just before that, remember to leave a like on the video, comment down below, and vote for your driver of the day. For my driver of the day, honestly, I'd have to say Nico Hülkenberg, 16th to 6th in a Renault, which hasn't got the best pace. You'd definitely say Hülkenberg for my driver of the day. So now, time for the driver interviews. I'll see you all next time.
Firstly, congratulations on the result. With yourself P3 and Buemi P4, do you feel that the team is making progress needed to fight at the front consistently?
For sure, yeah, like P3 and P4, that is definitely progress for the Williams team, but you see from the results, we're still over 40 seconds behind the Ferrari and the Mercedes. And even with that's with the safety car as well, so if you take out the safety car, we'd be even further behind, and possibly even behind Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso as well. So it's encouraging signs for the team, but there's still a long way to go if it's to become podium finishers, hopefully for the team's sake even race winners come the second half and the end of the season. It's unbelievable how dominant Mercedes and Ferrari have been. And mainly Jean-Eric Vergne, I have to say, he's doing an excellent job in that Ferrari to take 4 out of 6 wins, and Vettel taking the other 2. So there's a lot of catching up to do if anyone's to put one over really on Ferrari for the remaining races of the season.
I think everyone will have their own opinions, but what is your view on the Turn 1 incident?
I haven't really seen a replay of that Turn 1 incident yet, but it looks like this went 4 wide into Turn 1. It's never going to work, and I'm pretty sure everyone would find some way to blame either Verstappen, Gasly, Haryanto, or Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, Ricciardo was on the outside, so he could have backed out of it. Haryanto and Gasly pretty much sandwiched there in the middle, so there's not really much they could do. I think you could say Max Verstappen shouldn't have gone in to make it 4 wide, but Verstappen there ended up on the inside line, so it's his corner to take, so you can work it either way. So honestly, I'd probably have to say that it's a racing incident. I don't think they could find any way to solitarily blame one driver for that incident. I mean, we all got through there on the restart, so they learned from their mistakes at least, and so did everyone else, but it caused quite a chaotic start on the original start, and pretty much just proves why the Monaco Grand Prix could be off the calendar for next season. The wider cars, they just don't work around Monaco anymore. Seeing the cars back in the 70s, 80s were still relatively small, so albeit that the track is basically still the same, the cars were small enough they could still overtake each other relatively easily. It wasn't like other tracks like Monza where you just come up behind and overtake them, but still the possibilities were there. And seeing in this race with Gasly in that wounded Toro Rosso just training absolutely everyone, and overtaking just really isn't possible in Monaco anymore.
And finally, we saw things get pretty close between yourself and Esteban Ocon. What's your opinion on the way he let you through to lap him?
I think it's pretty clear what Esteban Ocon was trying to do. It looked like he was just trying to take me out of the race. You know, also, I don't know what I've done to Ocon. We see I was lapping him there. Let me go around the outside. And first of all, coming up to the casino section, you saw that he went wide as I was going wide to go around the outside of him, so he could keep to the racing line, so he wouldn't get the marbles on his tyres. But then he moved to the inside, so fair enough, I had to go around the outside there on the racing line. And then coming up into the hairpin section, the corner before, I was going around the outside because I saw Ocon was still keeping his nose in there at the inside. Of course, I didn't want to lop his nose off and then get spun round and possibly have an incident with how close Komario was right up behind us. And then coming into the hairpin, Ocon just didn't back out. You seen when Vern came up to lap Jorda backed out of it and let Vern go in front, which is what he should have done. And Ocon just turned us into the wall. And thankfully, we didn't make contact with that tyre barrier at the end of the outside of the hairpin, and that could have just been a very expensive crash and a huge pile up there. But still, the way we would have got through that and taken the podium position, so Toyotas would have still lost points either way, so I don't really know what Esteban Ocon was thinking there, if I'm honest.
Thank you for your time, and we will see you in Canada.
Alright, cheers.